Hi there, friends, followers, YouTubers, and people that like to trade instruments. I've got a Facebook group called Marshall Amps for trade and sale, so if you have a look on there. But today I just wanted to show you something which I picked up yesterday, and for all the world looks like quite a modern Marshall B cab, because it's got black tolex, black cloth, corner protectors, and I can tell you that all of these things it should not have. This should be basket weave, there should be no corner protectors. Keen-eyed Marshall fans will see that there's gold piping in here which puts it at the early 70s. It's also got plastic caster cups on the top as opposed to the row of plastic. See if I can show you that without breaking the floor there. So caster cup for the air cab wheels to go into, as opposed to this plastic strips, as I say. So what I've started to do with this is try and return it back to its original state. It's not going to completely return back to its original state. It's only got one 1972 greenback in it. The other three speakers are grey backs, believe it or not, from 1973. So the year code on them being F for 1973 and E for the greenback, which is a 1972. They're all roller Celestians, of course, because it's post 1971, which most people agree is when the transitional period was. So in the side of the cabinet you can see that it's got what look like metal handled side handles. It's of the period where it should have handles in the side, of course, being early 70s, so I've not got a problem with that. These though are not original Marshall metal handles. I think that might be plastic as opposed to metal. Doesn't look quite right to me. It looks alright from a distance, but doesn't look quite right. But other keen-eyed Marshall collecting fans might notice there's a little bit of a hint of purple about this cabinet, which and in various places around the front there's little scuffs, and it does look a little bit purple in places, and that's because it was originally purple, and I have started to scrub it down, and that's the main purpose of this video, is really to just say just to document what I've been doing in order to try and get the black paint off, because I would like it to be back to purple, and I'll also put some basket weave in the front, and maybe a smaller Marshall logo if it would have originally have had a smaller Marshall logo. So that's the amplifier. That's what this channel is sort of all about, really, collecting and trying to get my Marshall collection up to as good as it can be with vintage pieces like this. 1972 is the year I was born, so this cab is definitely going to be staying with me. It means a lot to me to have this. I did have a 70 or a 71 recently. I say recently, just before COVID, and I had to sell that, so I really didn't want to sell it because it was a minter. But sell it I did. But this one's staying with me, and so in order to try and get this back to purple again all over, and it's going to be quite difficult, what I've been doing is speaking of COVID, so what I've been doing is I've had it laid flat on its front for a start, but I've been spraying this all-purpose cleaner with bleach in it, and just putting it on like that. Of course it's not been running because it's been on its side, but I started off nice and light, about as gentle as you could be with a cheap sponge with the scouring side on it, like that. And you can see on the floor, I can see on the floor that the black paint is dripping off of this, which is good because it means it's working. But after trying that for a bit and thinking, blimey, this is quite hard work, I then moved on to a hard brush. And that seems to suck up the any moisture. Perhaps it gets in the grooves of the tolex a little bit more efficiently, but it does use up the moisture, as I say. And after using about a quarter of a roll of tissue, kitchen roll, I started to just use a sponge and rinse it out, because everything's really expensive these days, and kitchen roll's no exception. So just sponge away the excess paint there, and as you can see, it's becoming a little bit more purple each time, and then eventually I'll go all the way around the cabinet, get rid of all of the black, hopefully, and then it'll be a really nice purple Marshall 4x12 cab, one green back in it and 3 grey backs, even before the 1974-75 sort of period of cream backs, so grey backs are quite rare. And I'll use this live, and it'll have different coloured grill on it, and I might put some original metal handles in, but yeah, it's going to be a beast, and I bet it sounds awesome as well. Well, I've demoed it, so I know it sounds awesome, but through my amps. I'll give it a blast, and I'll put a video on here for you. So but yeah, it's just to let you know, use a sponge, wet the area like that, wet the area. You can use a scourer like that, brings it off quite successfully. Bit of elbow grease, it's hard work. It's not like being at work. And then I use a metal scourer, not quite so much pressure on it. And that really brings it off, as it were. And yeah, I was told that this used to belong to a Deep Purple tribute band, and might very well be true. But then when the owner before me acquired it, he didn't want it to be purple, so he painted it black. And each to their own, I suppose. But, I mean, I'll bring the camera up in a minute to show you this. Just that little area there that I've just been scrubbing there. You can see that. There's too much. That's probably a good view of it. Plenty of purple coming through there now, so hopefully in time that's what's going to look like all over the place, and get it out to some gigs and let you people hear it. It's going to be on Blues by Kings gigs and recordings in the next few years, hopefully. Check that out on bluesbykings.com, named after the great BB King, of course. Strangely enough, we don't really cover any BB King, but we do some Freddie King and some Albert King. And yeah, show that pedal. Please like and subscribe, share it, and check back in for progress on this cab and hear what it sounds like. Thanks a lot. Cheers.